you talk about great careers in boxing, just a scintillating career, unbelievable. And you have to go back 9 straight fights to end his career in Atlantic City. And one of his good friends joins us for a couple moments. You know him as a great actor, a stuntman, fighter as well, amateur circuits back in the day from Sons of Anarchy, Oz, which, by the way, we talked about Oz yesterday. Chuck Zito, kind enough to join us. How you been, Chuck?
Good, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate a couple moments. And, we were talking about this the other day with this weekend with the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. And obviously you being in Hollywood and being a stuntman and being a bodyguard and being in the world of boxing and having an opportunity to take that long walk to the ring with Arturo for so many years. I mean, we kind of know the backstory of how everything got started, but what did it mean to you to just kind of always be a part of his fights and some of those epic fights that we've seen in Atlantic City?
Arturo was just a great guy. He was a great fighter. He put on so many great battles there in Atlantic City. He generated more money than any boxer in history for Atlantic City. And every time he went to the ring, he went to war. So he expected a great fight with Arturo Gatti.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because when you look at him just from, of course, the trilogy and the great fights against Micky Ward, and it's funny, you'll appreciate this, everyone always talks about those fights, and then you have to stop and realize none of them were a title fight. They were just 3 great fights.
Exactly. 30 rounds of just toe-to-toe boxing. It was unbelievable. And I was a part of that, and I was thrilled and excited. Arturo was a great guy. He was an honorable man. He was loyal. One of the most generous persons I've ever met, and it was just he was just a great guy, and just sad that he left us too soon.
Yeah, it really is, and I had a pleasure of watching a lot of his fights down here, and even the last couple ones where he just wasn't that same fighter. But you go back, the fact that he was able to just absorb incredible amounts of punishments and all these great fights. You're talking about a 2-time world champion. I want to talk for a moment. I know. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You were an Army fighter, right? Did you fight in the New York Golden Gloves?
Yes, I fought 4 times in New York Golden Gloves. Four different times. But I fought in 1973. It was my first fight. That's a long time ago.
Well, I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to date how long it's been, right? But now I know everyone knows because with the Hells Angels and everything. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though. Did you actually train or know John the Baptist? Did you train with him?
Yes, John became a fighter because of me.
Oh, really? Now, he was light, heavy, or heavyweight?
He was a heavyweight.
Okay.
I fought twice the welterweight and twice the middleweight.
Okay.
And I remember taking John to the Golden Gloves, the finals. And he's sitting there. He goes, I could beat these guys. I said, well, why don't you come to the gym tomorrow and prove it? And that's what he did.
Wow.
He came the next day, and he dedicated his life to boxing, and he became a great fighter. He's an 18-2 record before Uncle Sam tapped us on the shoulder and went to a Club Fed.
Oh, wow. It's the Golden. They just actually celebrated their 90th year because the last 5 years I did a lot of the blow by blow. A couple years it was in the Barclays Center, then it was in the Manhattan Center, and then the Aviator Center. So certainly amateur boxing alive and well in New York. How about your thoughts just this weekend with the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame and all these fighters and the members in the community being honored and just boxing back in the day, in the heyday. Let's be honest, it was a hotbed. There was pretty much a fight every night in Atlantic City.
Absolutely. Back in the 80s, you had great fighters. Everybody in that weight division was great. And then you didn't have as many belts as you have today, and that's the sad thing. Years ago, there was only one belt, the ring belt, and it was one title, the champion of the world. And I hope it goes back to that someday, but I don't know about that. But I'm here to, of course, honor the memory of Arturo Gatti. That's why I'm going down there. And like I said, Arturo was great. He gave us three great fights with Micky Ward. Of course, don't forget, Arturo, when he was on the street, he weighed 180 pounds.
Yep.
He used to lose 40 pounds for every fight.
Yeah.
So after a while, at the end of his career, it took a toll on him. But those 3 great fights with Micky Ward will go down in history. Their names will be synonymous with Ali Frazier, Zal Graziano, Robinson LaMotta, Pep Sadler, and now Gatti Ward.
You had a couple disciplines in MMA and boxing as well. I'm just curious, and I ask a lot of guys that are entrenched in MMA and in boxing. You know, the argument is I'm a boxing purist first and foremost, even though I broadcast both those sports respectively. I'm always it's my passion first and foremost is boxing. I always hear the argument, well, boxing is dead. MMA has surpassed boxing. I think there's enough pieces of the pie to go around, and everyone can just enjoy it, and everyone can make money off of it, and I don't think either sport's going away. But where do you look at the state of boxing right now compared to MMA?
Oh, you know what? Like I said, the boxing is kind of dying because there's not. You know what? I used to know every champion, every weight division. I don't even know who's fighting anymore. There's only a couple of guys that you know of. You know, Triple G, Canelo,
yep.
Mayweather,
yep.
and that's it. I mean, you know, Danny Jacobs is a great fight. He put on a great fight with Triple G recently. But there isn't. They're not as hungry, I don't think, as they were years ago. And you don't even know who's the heavyweight today. And
Deontay Wilder.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, Deontay Wilder, and also Anthony Joshua. He's a great fighter. But MMA is taking over the sport because you get more thrills, you get more excitement. They definitely sell out. I went to a boxing match the other night at the Garden. It was halfway sold out.
Do you think a Conor McGregor, and I'm so indifferent on this, a Conor McGregor and if a Floyd Mayweather would fight, again, this is just my opinion. I have no desire to see it. I wouldn't pay for it. And again, I cover and broadcast both these sports.
You'll pay for it. Don't tell me that.
I'm telling you right now. Yep. I am being honest. I've said it on the air. I'm not backing down. To me, I think it's a joke. I do.
Well, look. Of course, if they fight in a ring, Mayweather is definitely going to beat him. Well, you know what? I always give somebody a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
McGregor's got a punch. I mean, he's younger. I think he's stronger at it too. But of course, Mayweather is the pound for pound best fighter out there today in his era. Does McGregor have a shot? Anybody does if you land the right punch. But if Mayweather goes into the octagon, of course McGregor will beat him. But you know it's going to be something. I guarantee you, it's going to be one of the highest paid pay-per-views.
Well, I think it's more because of the MMA fans. I think they're going to watch.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
And like I said, I went to the fights the other night, and the Garden was halfway sold out. When the MMA was there, it was sold out in one day.
Well,
that's the difference.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I mean, there's a ton of events with some local promotions, Cage Fury down here with the Borgata, and they're standing room only with the MMA. They do a great job of cultivating the contacts and the fighters. Ring of Combat, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Yep. Hey, listen, I'll get you out on this because we were talking about this yesterday. So we know about your career. Yep. We know you were stuntman and then a bodyguard back in the day, and then you got in acting and now doing the Sons of Anarchy. And you have, a bunch of films, Carlito's Way, Rise of Power, 13, Homefront. This is a compliment now. I've said this to actors before. If I can't stand your character, that means you're doing something great, and I could not stand you when you were... Hold on a second. I could not stand you when you were on Oz. I could not take your character anymore. And I'll tell you, how about your experience on Oz? That was a great show.
Oz was the greatest show on HBO. We paved the way for everybody. We were first. Before Sopranos, before Sex and the City, before 6 Feet, everybody. Oz paved the way for everybody, and everybody on the show. Everybody had their own character. A lot of guys went on to bigger.
Oh, no doubt.
Things.
Yeah.
Chris Maloney went out to Law and Order. Dean Winters is now Mayhem in the insurance.
Acevedo.
J.K. Simmons won the Academy Award last year.
Yeah.
They're all great.
I'm not going to lie. I went back and listen, Chucky. I went back and watched it, and I was like, I can't believe they should have just shivved this guy early on, season number 3, season number 4. But listen, now your character is great.
It was great. And I keep telling Tom Fontana, let's do a movie because we're on a bus and we don't even know where we're going.
That's right. That was the end. Yeah.
that was a stupid ending. I mean, it was just, and the thing with us, every season got better. Our sixth season was the best one ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually your seasons go down. Your ratings go down. We went higher every season.
Yeah. It's funny too because they talk about the endings, right? And then everyone would get on the Sopranos ending with the fade to black. But you're right. I remember you guys are on a bus, and then all of a sudden that's it, and everyone's thinking,
they had anthrax in a prison, and they shipped everybody out. Those who didn't die got shipped out. I'm one of them. I'm on a bus, so we should do a movie.
All right, we'll put the treatment, and I'll start scripting that up, and you get the rights to it. We'll be good to go.
You do that, man. You do that.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate a couple moments. I'll see you over the weekend. I appreciate you jumping on board for a couple moments.
Thank you so much. I'm actually on the turnpike now, on my way down there.
All right, Chuck. Appreciate it, pal.
Thank you so much.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
All right, you got it. Take care of yourself. Chuck Zito.